Hey everyone. So here I am, Joe Amarino. This is Talk About It Tuesday with Joe. This week's episode is going to be on the holiday blues, which is when you get depressed or feel really melancholy, really sad, sometimes anxious about whatever during the holiday season or the holidays themselves. Some people, it lasts from Christmas until New Year's. Some people it starts earlier, but it's just that really shitty funk you get into around the holidays. The first thing I want to say is you're not alone. Many people go through it, and I know that all of our Hallmark movie and Netflix movies and Hulu movies and everything else make it seem like everybody's really happy and really joyful throughout the holidays and that it's perfect. But it's not. It's not perfect for everybody. It's not perfect for anyone, realistically. So I'm really going to start with depression and the fact that those of us who have depression tend to get worse this time of year. Between your body not producing the right amount of chemicals and serotonin and dopamine affecting your daily life anyway, and always being in a different state and not really feeling like your head's above water, and yet you're at a baseline of like ready to feel joy. During this time of year, it gets darker and darker earlier and earlier. And with that, seasonal afflictive disorder or SAD kind of comes into play. And we get even sadder. Your depression gets worse typically during this time of year. And it's normal. A big part of it, in my belief, like, I'm not a scientist, but I think a very large part of it is our lack of vitamin D if you live anywhere in the northern hemisphere, because the days are shorter. We're outside much less. When we are outside, it's typically not sunny, or most of our bodies are covered up because it's frigid, but also because our bodies want to hibernate. The human body has not caught up with the age of technology in the sense that we want to stay asleep until the sun starts rising, and we want to go to bed when the sun sets. So if you are like me and it's horrible and it's almost impossible for you to drag your ass out of bed in the morning this time of year, and then the second 4 o'clock rolls around and you're yawning and ready for bed, that's normal. That's what our bodies want. We force them into staying awake a lot longer than they're supposed to be because they don't understand that we need to go shopping or get coffee or anything else at that hour. Our bodies are just doing what the circadian rhythms are programmed to do from bygone eras. So if you have depression, you're typically even more depressed just because of the natural state of the earth. Another thing that can happen or make people feel melancholy, or has happened to me, is feeling like you're missing out on that magic that so many other people seem to be having. Like the beautiful Christmas time of year, the decorations, the joy, the merriment that some people seem to have, or that commercials and TV shows and movies make us think everyone has. And you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't feel like decorating because I live alone. Or you decorate, but it doesn't feel any more magical because it's not magic, it's decoration. You're not alone. Like, everybody has FOMO, fear of missing out. And a lot of times during this time of year, it's FOMO of magic. Like, we are missing out on that, or we think we might be, or we are. And it makes us sad and makes us melancholy. Sometimes it, is driven by our past and our childhoods and what we experienced or didn't experience as a kid. Because when you're a kid, Christmas can be magical. It can be super joyful and super amazing. And if you have kids, that can come back too, because watching them experience it can be so amazing, or nieces or nephews or something. Cats don't get quite as excited about Christmas. It's really weird. I don't know. My girls don't care. Makes me kind of sad. But that ache for something that's not there is is human nature, and it's also kind of programmed into us because that season, that feeling, that magic, all of those things are created by us. It's an image that has been created. It's not something that just happened. There are traditions that date back to like pagan times that we still observe that, kind of bring that mystique and that joy in. But otherwise, everything else, the image of Santa Claus we have now was developed by Coca-Cola. So like all of these things are driven by consumerism. Another part of that consumer-driven Christmas spirit or holiday spirit is that the pressure to buy gifts, the pressure to impress with presents, the pressure to give gifts at all when you might not be financially stable, or you're financially stable but that's it, you don't really have any fluid income. That hits a lot of people. It hurts. It hurts kids, it hurts families, it hurts parents. It's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot to think about, and it's, to me, depressing because that's not what it should be about. That's not what the spirit of the holiday season should be about at all. It shouldn't be about money, it shouldn't be about gifts, it shouldn't be about what you get or not get, or what you can give somebody that's material. It should be about love and reconnecting and being thankful and grateful and seeing people that you don't get to see very often, and what you can give as a person, as a human being, whether it's to society, whether it's to your family, whether it's to your damn self, because self-care this time of year is very important. And self-care isn't just a pedicure or a manicure or a massage, though those are nice. Self-care is making sure that you take care of yourself and you fill your cup before you fill anybody else's, because you can't pour water from an empty pitcher. So it's really important that you don't forget about yourself and take care of you, because you can't take care of anybody else if you're run down, if you're ragged. And if you continue to take care of people or buy things when you're out of money or do these extravagant things or anything when you're out, it's going to lead to resentment. And resentment ain't pretty, ain't cute on anybody. And I can tell you it's true because I've done it myself plenty of times. I love to take care of people and practically mother them, and then I get really resentful when I don't A, get any in return, but B, feel like I've been neglected. And honestly, it's usually my own problem that I've created for myself. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure that you're not giving in to that pressure and succumbing to the pressure of gifts and material things and all of that stupid shit that we have let invade our culture. Because while things are nice, they get very cluttered. And they're not that important. You can't take them with you when you die. So there are things that are necessary. There are things that we want. But none of the things that people want are needed for Christmas to prove that you love them. So please don't give in to that pressure. Another reason why people really can get sad and depressed, or why I've been sad and depressed around the holidays, is the loss of a loved one. For me, a big loss has been my grandmother on my mom's side, Rosalind. She was a big part of my life. We were really, really close. And it's really hard without her. It makes me sad. It makes me miss her. It makes me miss the sound of her voice and her laugh and her sarcastic sense of humor. And it makes me sad because I watched my mom be really sad about the loss of my grandmother and, missing her mom and feeling lost and lonely without her. And it breaks my heart. People, it doesn't matter who they were in relation. It's somebody that you love deeply, and it really hurts when they aren't there anymore. And a lot of times the holidays really bring that up and bring that to the surface because it's a moment where you absolutely would have been with them or would have seen them or would have spoken to them, and you miss that experience. I know I do. So it's okay to acknowledge their loss and that they're not there and that you miss them. It's okay to talk about them if you're able to. It's okay to cry at Christmas. Who cares? If your family's judging you, that's their problem, not yours. Just don't cry in the food. So if you've lost somebody and it comes to light for you emotionally every holiday season, that's normal. That's okay. It doesn't feel okay because pain never feels okay, but it's okay to feel that way and to allow yourself to go through it and to process. Whether you have to process every year or whether it fades over time and you remember more of the joy, either way, loss is loss, grief is grief, and it's different for everybody, and it takes everyone a different amount of time to deal with it. We also get lonely if you live alone, like I do, or if you live alone, like my mother does, because her fiance lives somewhere else, so they aren't physically together all the time. It can be a really lonely time of year. Um, there are people who aren't very close with their families. There are people who were and are no longer. There are so many reasons why people can feel alone. Sometimes you're in a room full of people and you still feel all alone because you don't feel connected, whether it's because of a chemical issue with your brain or whether you truly aren't connected, where you feel like an outcast and you are because you don't fit in and nobody makes effort to engage you in any conversations or bring you into things. This time of year really makes that so much more apparent because the focus is on family and friends and being together and love and light and meeting somebody special because Hallmark. And if you're single, it's okay. And if you're lonely, that's okay too. And if you don't want to do anything for the holidays, don't. If you want to, do it. Don't let a fear or a feeling take over and rule you and ruin an experience for you. So if you know that you're going to go and sit and be all alone in a room full of people and it's awful and you hate it, don't go. It's okay to not go. If you want to go but you're not sure because you don't know how people will react or you don't really know anybody that well but you don't want to stay alone, go. You're going to be okay. You can leave if it sucks. That's all right too. Sometimes it too can bring up bad memories. If you've had terrible Christmases, if you've had a loss on Christmas, if you had a rough childhood and Christmas was never either a big thing, or if the holidays were full of fighting and drama and negative things versus, the beautiful, the kind, the love, then this time of year is going to suck. And you don't have to force yourself into making it look like it doesn't suck for you. If you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're going through it, don't put on a show for everyone else because that's what they expect. Be yourself. It's okay to be sad. Get through it how you have to. If your memories of the holidays suck, get some Chinese food, go to a movie, do what makes you feel good. You don't have to force yourself into everything that other people project. You can allow yourself to feel and be however you do. You don't have to show up. You don't have to impress anybody. You don't have to feel like if you don't go that people are going to look down on you or be offended or, think less of you because you weren't there. If they do, again, like I said earlier, that's a them problem, not a you problem. The holiday blues suck. Being depressed ain't fun. Some things that I've done to remedy things for myself when I'm feeling the holiday blues is, well, I didn't decorate, so there's nothing. There's a nutcracker, a tropical nutcracker with a surfboard and hibiscus on his shirt. Like, that's as Christmassy as I got right now. And that's okay because I didn't feel it this year. And it's okay that I didn't feel it this year. It's okay that I don't feel it many years. The holiday season has always been tough for me. So, again, the remedy that I've been doing, or what I've done this year for me, is I've talked to my prescriber, I've talked to my psych, and we have tried a couple of things. We've adjusted a couple of doses, and they've been helping. So, for me, adjusting my medication for the time of year has definitely helped. Um, I'm not saying that medication is the answer for everyone. I'm just saying for me, it's really helped me get through um, because it's tough. I hate seeing my mom sad, and she's kind of sad this time of year. I hate that I can't do anything about it either. And I hate that the people that I love that are no longer here aren't here. It brings me down. So I'm dealing with it in the ways that I can. One of them is talking about it, one of them is medication, part of it is this. And then, still going and spending time with my family and trying to enjoy what I can is also part of how I'm going to deal. But find what works for you. And, again, if you just need to curl up and be alone or be with one person, do it. That's okay. Thank you for joining me for Talk About It Tuesday with Joe. I look forward to seeing y'all soon. Let me know in the comments what you think would be a good subject matter. I'm always looking for inspiration. If you're listening to this as a podcast, shoot me a message, either via YouTube. I have a Twitter for this show, and it's Talk About It Tuesday with Joe Amo, A-M-O. Please feel free to shoot me a tweet and let me know what you think or what you'd like to hear.